Star Woman on The Breeze. Profiling a woman who is causing waves in her sphere of influence.
Now, you do know that today we are profiling women. It's just not one woman. The studio is... I feel like we're doing brunch. Yeah. We may as well be doing brunch. It's 23 minutes to the hour 11. And as you know, we are in Star Woman. Let me share a fun fact with you. Now, last year, the best female musician went to Mai Charamba, and she is in the studio. And this year it went to Cynthia Mare. And guess what? They are working together. Hey, ladies.
Hello.
How are you?
We're fine.
Oh, I'm great. Thank you. You're great. Well, welcome to Star FM. Welcome to The Breeze.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with them is Patricia Maviko, our big sister. How are you?
Very well, and good to see you and Ayati looking all bubbly and full of it. There's too much energy in this room. Too much.
It's always like this.
Right. Well, thank you for having us today. It's really an important day for us. And I'm here representing World Education Incorporated Bantwana. I'm the media management consultant. And we brought these two amazing ladies because they are working on a campaign that World Education Incorporated Bantwana is running at the moment. It's really focusing on gender-based violence. And the issue is, a lot of the times when gender-based violence is being discussed, it's being discussed as a technical subject, sometimes just on its own and with statistics alone, and looking at what it is and what are its effects. What we've decided to do as World Education Bantwana is to bring in people who matter in society, who are role models, but who also are human beings, who have relatives perhaps who do experience gender-based violence. We want people to realize that this problem is everybody's problem. And I think sometimes gender-based violence is looked at as a women's issue, as a woman's issue, but it's actually a family issue. I mean, if you look at the newspapers nowadays, if you read the levels of child abuse, in Zimbabwean courts, for example, alone, 60% of the cases in the courts in Zimbabwe are to do with child sexual abuse. So it's a big issue. And what can we do as families to make sure we're taking responsibility? And this is why we brought in Mai Charamba and Cynthia. In fact, we also have Alexio Kawara. He's also one of our other brand ambassadors, but he's not here. So thank you for having us, and we're ready to discuss it with you guys to see how we can get the community involved to help eradicate this problem.
Thank you so much, Patricia. And like you said, Mai Charamba is representing the woman in this whole fight against gender-based violence, and Cynthia, you are representing the adolescent, the young woman. Yes. Because this campaign features mostly or concentrates mostly on women and the young
adolescent girls.
The young adolescents. They've also brought with them Sandra Muengwa. She's a lawyer with an organization called Justice for Children. Let's start with you, Mai Charamba. What are your emotions when you talk about gender-based violence? Just what emotions does that arouse in you as a woman in this country?
I think this is a very hard subject to talk about. Mm-hmm. It's affecting women and children, the family as a whole, the extended family. When we have these consequences of gender-based violences that is happening in the homes. So it's a very hard thing that we think it should be conscientized to the public or to the society, the repercussions of gender-based violence, what it does to the community, what it does to the family, what it does to the children. So I think it's something that we need to tackle as a country, as the government, as the church. Everyone should be involved in. Yeah.
And Cynthia, what are your emotions when we are talking this subject?
I'm with Mai Charamba on this. It affects everyone. It affects the family, it affects the children and the community, and in general, even our nation. As someone who represents the adolescent girl, I can just imagine watching my mother being beaten up by my own father. Two people that I would be looking up to, two people that I love. It would be heartbreaking. It would be something very difficult to deal with. And then as a woman, if I grow up watching my mother being beaten up, I'm sure that I would also then think that it's okay for myself to be beaten up, that it's okay, that I deserve it. Because I think with some of the statistics that have come up is that I think 1/3 of 40% of the women actually believe that it's okay when with the surveys have been done. So I think part of it is because when they grow up, when they're young, they're seeing these things happening, and then they think, oh, it's okay, maybe I deserved it. And no, it's not okay.
All right, like Patricia said, and like you're also saying, Cynthia, the stats show that 42% of married women have suffered from spousal or partner abuse at some point in their marriage, and 40% of women view gender-based violence as acceptable. You know, like kurangwa or something, or you know, it should be done in a marriage. Now, Patricia said, a lot of times when we discuss gender-based violence, it's at practitioner level. It's very bookish. Yes. Okay, Mai Charamba vachiimba. Ezvinoda kutaura chirungu chema-replications chechichichi. Imi Mai Charamba, let's break it down to very social levels. Muri tete, muri mbuya, muri mufundisi kuchechi, muri mai, you know, kune vanhu vakura vanokuti mai, like namai nini toza kuti vana venyu maybe vasati vakura kusvika zera iroro, but pachishona munhu wese ndimai, muri neighbor. Anditi kana mine gender based violence relationship vanhu vari kushungurudzana muwanano, vari kugara around imimi. Imimi semudzimai tisingatasi kuti Mai Charamba muimbi, tinozvikudza kuti mauya semuimbi kuti mushandise influence yenyu yereach yemusic yenyu kubatsira vanhu. Asi imimi semunhukadzi, mumwe munhukadzi akauya achitaura kushungurudzwa kwaari kuita pamarriage, munoibata sei nyaya yakadai so?
Nyaya inotinetsei vanhu vakauya kwandiri vari kuexpecta help from somebody anonamata, and they want that spiritual help. Saka dambudziko ratinoita vanhu vakaapproacha the church, sometimes we tend to spiritualize the subject. We know that all these problems, they emanate from the spiritual realm, but pane pamwe pokuti kana munhu auya aapproacha the church of ne-subject i-subject ida kutariswa on both sides, but direct on the ground munhu asangana nedambudziko rekuti ari kurohwa kumba. Saka munhu anoda kubatsirwa ine way yekuti anzwe kuti handina kubatsirwa pamweya chete but ndabatsirwa panyama kuti zvisaitike kumba. Inotinetsei kuti uudze munhu kuti siya imba yako, you know, Mwari God is against divorce. Saka it's not a subject unoudza munhu no kana ona zvanetsa, pack your bags and go, because cursed is the man who not divided the family, because God is a God of families. Saka you have to tackle it uchida kuta, bring the family together. Somehow we need to find way means zekutaura ne the men. And varume dzimwe nguva panogona kutinetsa kuti tipinde musphere yavo kana tipinde mukutaura nawo. Saka the only person atinokwanisa kutaura naye mudzimai, and kuencourage mudzimai dzimwe nguva face inenge yatodeformed, kuti muchimuencourage chinhu chiri very difficult chatinoda kuti tibatsirane kuti toita sei kana mudzimai achinge asvika pakadai. Yes, you need to pray kuti Mwari chipindirai mundibatsirewo, and pray for the husband. Yes, that we definitely need to do. But ari kunida imwe help, imwe counseling yekuti sometimes we fall short of words dzekubatsira nadzo. But divorce is not, kwandiri would not be an option. Pamwe kana zvinhu zvatozonetsesesa, but sometimes we need to kuziva kuti chazomboita kuti violence inge irimo handina here inini semudzimai chinhu chandaita chakonzeresa. Chinhu chandinofunga chinokonzeresa domestic violence munguva communication yedu. We need to kudzidzira kuita communication skills, kudzidzira kutaura nekudzidza vanhu vedu. Tikaenda kuchina zvinodzidza munhu wako. Yes, we need kutidzidza kuti baba varuda chakati kana tasvika pakati nyaya dzakati tinotaura takadai so. The way to approach panopamboti tinotaura, and then kutaura kwedu kunoita kuti munhu uinvoke munhu kuti achita violence, although it's not a way to go. It should never be a way to go. People should learn to communicate and learn to disagree. Personal violence yaitika.
Cynthia, when we look at you're a young lady, you're vibrant, you're upcoming. by default would think these issues don't really affect age group yako, but you find in reality kuti there are girls your age or even younger who will be in abusive relationships. At your peer level, what's the vibe when you hear domestic violence or gender-based violence? At your level, is it an outright ajite? You know, are girls that bold? Are they that empowered to speak? What's the vibe at your level?
I am hoping that girls are empowered, because unlike the woman in the home, she's got responsibility. You've heard the saying, you know, with a young woman, you're not married, you've got options. What has happened, I think, sometimes is us girls, we start dating. Even in high school, you start noticing boys. Some of the abuses even start at that time. You find guys having verbal abuse towards girls, telling girls, or things like that. That's still abuse. So actually, as much as we're talking about the home and the family, the girls, even as at school or in their communities, do suffer from gender-based violence. You know, it's not the domestic in terms of kumba, but even in the community, when they start dating, sometimes the guy that you're going to marry, during the time you're dating, and then sometimes girls were not empowered enough to say, I will not take this. And also we lie to ourselves and say, I will change him or he will change. And then we actually end up getting married and then getting into these situations. Because I'm sure some of the people that are married, initially it started by data. I say a little bit violent, and things like that, emotional abuse and all that. So I think I would like to say to the girls, if you notice that your boyfriend is already like that, be aware, you know what, I'm empowered, I'm a woman, I can find a better man before you get into that marriage, because it's happening.
And we've just come out of Valentine's Day, and I'm looking at your age. You know, it's all so romantic.
Yeah.
At your peer level, again, are girls even having these conversations to realize that I need to really find out who this guy I'm dating is, or it's all rosy and very romantic at this stage?
To be honest, from the girls that I've spoken to, you know, people that I meet and speak to, there's a few different types of girls out there. There's some bold girls who say anditwe zvakat. Then there's some girls who, again, I think it stems from the upbringing with some of these girls who are very, you know, very sort of vulnerable. They don't speak out, they don't say anditwe zvakat, who fall in love with a guy and from day dot are singing to his tune, even when he says shamwari wafuta, today you don't look very nice, or I don't like you, you know, that those degrading kind of statements, and these girls stay in those relationships. So we've got different types of girls. Some of them are allowing, even at dating level, even these roses on Valentine's, sorry, believe me, oh yeah, since January, and then Valentine's was, baby, I still love you. So we need to, as girls, to also be aware of these guys who tend to do abusive things to us.
All right, it's Star FM, it's Star Woman, although we are featuring two women today, Mai Charamba and Cynthia Mare, who are brand ambassadors or really social integrators and in this campaign against gender-based violence.